it's a question that most students are grappled with as we speak at the moment. The answers we do not know, but we are going to try our best to find out that very soon.
It's another Saturday, the 19th of August 2023, the 5th episode of Elections Roundup. Stay with us for the latest news, update and analysis on the 2023 SRC elections.
We're going for a quick break. When you're back, we're going to know who did what. So we will be discussing a lot of things today. We'll be discussing our federals and how their various associations and denominations have the effects those have on how they come out in the elections. We have on the line, we have a development story right now that is coming from Hohoi. 5-star, that is the School of Public Health, having their vetting right now. And we have on the line our political correspondent, Edwin, who brings us the update on what is happening. What you are seeing on your screen now is live pictures of what is happening at Hohoi as we speak. Edwin. Can you hear me? Hello.
Will you take it?
Edwin, can you hear me?
I'm taking some of it.
So you are not getting him at the moment. You will get back to him in a very short time. But we have here in studio our political correspondent, Prince Emmanuel. Prince, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Welcome back to the show again.
Yeah, thank you for having me to meet you.
So, Prince, what's actually happening on campus right now? Students, a lot of things are happening. A lot of drama. This week has been a very busy week. I must say, a lot of drama.
Dramatic week.
A lot is happening in the school right now, and people are asking questions. People don't know. The first question I ask, will you vote? It's actually become a very, very important question in the school right now. A lot of people are asking this question everywhere. What is actually happening in the school right now?
All right, so as I said, like this week basically has been a dramatic week. So that people are really asking the question like, will you vote? Will you vote? Will you vote? Pertaining to the budget release and all its brouhaha and everything that has come out with it. But like, it has been an interesting week. So it has just been a mixed feeling. Other people feel like that isn't much of an issue to prevent them from voting. Whilst others who feel like they are losing interest in like the students, like they are losing interest in the ability of the students' leadership to be able to address their concern or maybe like really sensitive to their needs. So because of that, they wouldn't partake in the election. But others also feel like it's not any sort of an issue. So it's just a mixed feeling.
So this actually has created a lot of drama. Sandra, I don't know if you heard this, but throughout the week, a lot has happened concerning the SRC budgets for the SRC week celebration that occurred last week. Yes, people are asking questions. We have a lot of people coming out and saying a lot about how the amount is so huge and a lot of stuff. People are saying they don't understand why the SRC can afford this amount of money, yet we are still suffering with chairs.
Yeah.
People are asking questions.
And we had the SRC PRO on the news at 6 coming to he explained, he spoke about the SRC not being able to give us so much information because they don't want to create this chaotic environment in the school. But then I think they should give us a thorough breakdown of the whatever they use the money for. Because he released a communique telling us that they used 83,500.
Before it was
104,000.
1 billion Ghana, 1 billion old currency.
Probably like the news at 6 yesterday. What actually the how do you call it? The PR was trying to explain was like he was trying to say that they don't want to release the breakdown. So we're asking the question. So as we do, we keep on asking the question as a media institution that instead of if you just want to cut down the noise ongoing on campus, they should give us a breakdown of the 83,000. So the PRO was talking about how there is already chaos on campus. There was unrest on campus, and lots of schools having their issues. So they don't want a situation whereby if they release the breakdowns, the 83,000, it will escalate into another thing because drawing a budget comes with a lot of issues. So they don't want a situation whereby somebody can take time to scrutinize that budget again and also raise issues, and that also take like a week or 2 weeks for it to bring out that kind of another issue altogether. So that is their reason for it.
So the question again is that are we heading towards the right path? If you live in a university where the SRC doesn't give doesn't give the right information to the people, doesn't account for what it has done with the money of the people, do you think you are going the right way? I don't know.
I don't think it's the right way to go. We voted them into office, so I think they owe us. They have a responsibility of accountability to the students' bodies because this is our money. We pay SRC dues. So if we have a problem with how they manage our funds and then we are speaking about it, I think the right thing they should do is to give us a breakdown. They should give us a breakdown. Let's say we use 100 CDs to buy this, we use 300. They should just tell us whatever.
I get Sandra's argument and that was the same thing I advocated for. That they should give us a breakdown, because if you don't give us a breakdown, people will continue to keep on asking questions.
Yes.
Because you've already given us a reason why we should not trust you in the first place.
Of course.
People will continue giving us. But they said the PR was telling us about how if you really need a breakdown, you should write the speaker. You should write the speaker and order for the breakdown. So they are just trying to prevent another kind of third world war from occurring on campus because we've already seen a lot of issues.
So if I get you right, if I want the breakdown of the,
you should write the speaker.
I should write a letter.
It's the speaker requesting for the breakdown, and the speaker
do you think I'll get it?
That is another story. But I have not yet tried, so maybe I'll take a lead and write the speaker
see if you can get it.
Request for it, and we'll see
that would be a very good move.
Yeah, so we'll discuss that on the next episode.
Very soon.
Whether it was fruitful or not, we'll discuss that.
So have on the line Edwin. Edwin, can you please hear me? Yes, so the information you are getting now is that School of Public Health, you are having your vetting today, and a lot, from what you are hearing, a lot is happening. Can you give us an update on what is actually happening on the ground right now?
Yes, please. Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you to your viewers. The Public Health Students Association, that's an association in Endinka School of Public Health. We did a vetting of aspirants for executives for the position today. They started 9 a.m. and we just ended. I'm outside now. We see the students that they attended in their numbers, and it was a nice atmosphere, cheering up the aspirants they support during the vetting process. And we started they started the vetting with the secretary, that's Dopepis Abla, level 200 public health information students. They continue by vetting the financial secretary, which we have a male aspirant and also a female aspirant. The male aspirant being a disease control level 200 student called Sambuga Yakubu Fatao, and also the female aspirant with the name Wafu Efriye Dina Isia. She's also a level 300 public health and nutrition student. Continue further by vetting the WUCUM, Priscilla and Agnes, and Bediako Priscilla Shewa, also a level 200 Bachelor of Public Health Disease Control student, and also Agnes Osei, also a health information level 200 student. They had a break, they went to sit, had their lunch, and they came back, and they continued with their vetting process by vetting the presidency, that's Team Backman, Team Calculus, and Team Fresher. When I'm talking about Team Backman, Team Backman actually is led by Bakman Boateng, a level 200 disease control student who has taken advice with the name Eduenchi MS. He's also a level 200, but he is rather in health promotion. They will continue by vetting Team Calculus. Team Calculus is led by Apia. Team Calculus is led by Abuaje Isaac Mafo, a level 300 public health disease control student. But the news update this Team Calculus is that Team Calculus came when he was in level 200, but during the position he was being voted out. The student didn't vote for him actually, but now he's back again with a new vice. At first he had a vice, Millicent, but with a new vice, Apia Rocky, and they just ended the vetting process with Natalie Tarsius, that's Team Pressure, with a vice called J. Yabua Jonathan. Natalie Team Pressure, led by Natalie Nashios, is also a level 200 health information, and he is a course rep. And Apia Jonathan is also a level 200 disease control student. So I'll be glad if you can give me the opportunity to invite Sam Joseph, one of the panelists on the vetting team, to give us a brief summary of whatever thing that went on and what he thinks about it. Would that one be okay for you now? Okay, so Mr.
Edwin, can you hear me?
Honorable Sam Joseph is here with me now, so he will share with us what he thinks about and all that he has so far with the vetting process. Say hello.
Mr. Sam Joseph. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Say hello. Am I audible, please?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so as we speak, are the results in?
Results are not yet in.
Oh, okay.
We are now collating the results.
And when will it be in? Will it be in before the close of the day or some days after today?
Hello, please, am I audible? I'm finding it difficult to hear you.
Mr. Sam, I'm asking if the results will be in today or will they be in after some few days?
Now the panel is looking forward to collating the results and everything. So it's spearheaded by the EC, and he's working on that.
Okay. So we'll get back to you when the results are in. We'll get back to you and see what actually ensued in the vetting today in the School of Public Health. Okay. Thank you very much for having us. Yeah, so what you saw on your screen was live pictures of what is ongoing on right now at School of Public Health. They are vetting. So Prince, people have started vetting.
Yes.
This is for an association.
Yeah, so this one is like basically for an association, not like for the federal level.
Oh, okay.
Like the main election. So this is like one of the schools that we have.
Okay.
By the associations, like association level kind of vets. And
does this make them the first school, the first association to
yeah,
vet?
so they are the first association.
They are the first this year. Okay.
Others have also opened nomination.
I think MSC has opened nominations.
And I think
NAMSA. Yeah, NAMSA too. I think I've heard.
So like these are the first.
Okay.
They are the first people to open their nomination. So and like do the vets, and so we're hoping to see how it will be.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the federal SRC presidents. There are various denominations, there are schools, there are associations, and as to whether that is going to have an influence on the turnout of the elections this year.
Yeah. So you're talking about our various candidates for the various positions. So now you have four for the federal.
Yeah. So like for the front Shati, Ezel Johnson, and
we have Fado Mohammed.
Then the last person,
Pius.
Pius, yes. So,
yeah, so UHAS Base TV had an interview with Pius and Frank. I think last week or last 2 weeks.
That's last week.
Yes.
Last week.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for our viewers who haven't yet seen the interview of Pius Lugudo and Frank Chati, let's have a listen. We have it for you.
I'd like to ask you why the position of the federal SRC president?
All right. Hello and good evening to UHAS Base TV and good evening to all UHAS community members, especially members of our SRC. My name is Pius Brian Lugudo. Why the federal SRC presidency? Anybody who has come across my declaration, I have stated it clearly that this is a resounding call to serve our great giant community. I've served in several capacities in our SRC, and I strongly believe that this is the time to choose people who come with experience over experiment. I want to be able to effectively address key problems we have as a people, and most importantly, revive the interest of the students in the SRC and be able to build an SRC beyond intimidation. That is the reason why, with all this put together, I decided to stand for the federal SRC president's position.
Okay, Mr. Pius. Mr. Pius, so what do you intend to do for us when you come into power?
All right, very well. First of all, I made mention of it earlier on that my leadership is going to be a leadership without intimidation. I have felt that I have the feeling that our SRC, its growth, as we are expecting it to be from 2012 up to now, hasn't been what it seems to be. Now, what we seek to do is, first of all, to bring every student on board, because it is a student representative council where all hands will be on deck for us to build our SRC again. Through so many policies that we seek to roll out. And I will mention one of those effective policies. It's high time we take the health of our students populace seriously, because we are a health institution. That is why we are going to introduce your SRC care policy, where students who have active health insurance and seek health care in any hospital in who and its environment, and then incur any other bill outside the health insurance, those students should be refunded. And that money is not going to come from our SRC coffers. We as a team, Team Pius, have plans as to how we should be able to fund that policy. So that is just one of our policies. Many of them will be rolled out, and you will see it. I am not promising to bring heaven to earth for our UHAS SRC. What I seek to do is to sustain the growth, or the exponential growth we expect for our SRC. We should be able to achieve that as a people.
Okay. Mr. Pius, one more question and we are done. So, do you think you would be able to meet the eligibility criteria?
Absolutely. If you know that UHAS SRC operates by the Constitution, and if you look at Chapter 6, Article 38 of our Constitution, it is clearly stated over there who qualifies to stand for any federal executive position or provincial or whichsoever position there is in the SRC. I read it over and over again. I was Speaker of Parliament when the Constitution was reviewed, and I know the criteria that I have to meet to be able to stand. And absolutely 100%, I feel and I know that I've qualified and I've met the criteria to be able to stand as your federal SRC president.
All right, so that was Pius, one of the aspirants for the federal position of the SRC. So basically, what I got from his whole the interview is like he coming into like being the government of no kind of intimidation, because he has realized that the current SRC we have, the major problem is that they are being intimidated. So he feels like if he's coming with that kind of experience of being able to lobby with administration and other kind of like the stakeholders before. So he's coming in with like his fresh ideas of being able to like implement some of the things, like being able to tackle the students-centered like issues. I mean, that's basically what he was saying.
Talking about intimidation, do you think that that's actually a problem? We was looking at what you're talking about previously, where now we as students who have paid dues for the SRC can't have any form of accountability for what our monies were used for.
So if I get Pius very well, when he's talking about intimidation, he isn't talking about like intimidation on the front of the students' level. He's talking about intimidation in the front of the administration being intimidating the students' leaders. So even if they have this particular problem and they send it from, it looks like they are not able to get the kind of results they need. That is the kind of intimidation that he's talking about. So when he's trying to say that he will be bold, he will stand as a student's leader that we expect him to be, and like be able to deliver based on whatever that based on the oath that he has taken into office, that he will be able to do this for us, do this for us. That's what he's supposed to do. And when he sends his policy to the administration, he don't really have any kind of issues. So because, and also when it comes to the intimidation issues, I think it's one of the major problem here, because a lot of people really had so much confidence in this kind of this current administration, because in terms of the campaign and everything, you see people going around, but like it looks like a lot of people are currently disappointed in the current administration. So it all boils down to what is the reason why are people disappointed and why are they not able to deliver, although we had so much confidence in them. So that's what Pius is saying, that he has realized that the reason why they're not able to deliver is like they're being intimidated. So that's what he was trying to talk about here.
Pius is talking about intimidation. I'm sure he's not the first person who has spoken about the SRC being intimidated by the
powers of the management.
Yes. So I'm wondering, what is he going to do different that the other people didn't do?
There's always this question that people usually say. There's always this people usually say that the power of the SRC is limited. You see, sometimes people, you try to say that the SRC has power and the SRC can do things, and somebody will just tell you that, my friend, the school is run by big people.
And I don't really agree with that kind of statement. All the power of the SRC like is a little limited, but like we have seen things before. We have seen other governments coming into power and they've been able to implement projects. So what is preventing this current administration from implementing projects or taking on projects? I know what that's the problem, the question that we have to ask ourselves, because you see other administrations putting projects in place to be able to ease the burden on the students' population. So if it has to do with intimidation, then that means that you are not being effective in your communication enough, or you are not able to say things out there to convince the administration that like if they are able to give you this kind of power, you'll be able to implement that, because if still others do it. So if it also boils down to effective communication and bringing out your thoughts like in a logical way to convince them that what you're coming to do, you do it well. If this is like the first ever SRC you're having in UHAS, then I will understand that. But this is not the first that we are having. We have several before them, and they're able to do things. So the question is, what is preventing this current administration for delivering their promises that like the kind of
they promised
to the students' population?
So that's what Pius is promising to actually take care of. Okay, that is interesting. I heard in the video he was talking about we choosing
an
experience over experiment. It's actually very, very, very funny. Very, very. Yes, it's funny. I think it's very, very serious.
Okay.
Because most of the time people come and they tell us what they can do, and we believe them, and we vote for them only for us to be disappointed at the end of the day. Don't you think it's actually time we actually choose experience over experiment?
Experience.
Yeah. Because the experiment is too much.
But
I think I chanced on. There's this one UHAS group where people from Hawaii campus were complaining about how they voted for the current administration because the president was handsome. Yes, and it doesn't make sense. And they currently are very disappointed.
Yes.
some are complaining a lot. And people are saying they won't even vote in this election because at the end of the day, there's nothing happening.
So like, I guess what I'm saying, experience, voting for experience, not over experiment. But realize the case, everyone will come out, every one of them will come out with some kind of experience. Okay. Nobody will just get up and be like, I'm going for the federal president without having a whole list of things on his CV that I've done this. But the fact has to be with like, it also goes down to the policies you are bringing on board, how feasible they are. And also re-evaluating what you even did. Because as I said in the previous show, when we are looking at experiences, if you have been a speaker of parliament before, that doesn't really mean that you try.
That's actually a very good question.
Yes. So we are going to wait and see. When we gave you the position as a speaker of parliament, what did you do within that office? If you know what you did within that office, then we can be able to know what we will do when we give you a bigger position.
The question is this: you see, in UHAS, I don't know if you take notice of what people do in the office. For example, somebody was speaker of parliament some years ago. I don't know if there is any book or there is anything that shows how he performed and what he did in his time of office. And the sad thing is that there are people who were in the time when they were in office, the people who were there at that time are no longer in school. So now we that we are here right now don't have any idea of how they performed, whether they did well or they didn't do well.
All right.
And now we have been thrown into the darkness. To just vote.
Yeah.
Based on word of mouth. It's experience of experiment. It's actually something very big.
So now when we are talking about that kind of experiment and do your project, all those things, we are in a school. If you are doing something, it must be visible enough for everybody to see. Yeah. And it must be visible enough that even generations to come will be able to know that this is something that has been done by this person. So it was this administration that was able to do this. These people did this. Even till now, even let's look the last administration with the basketball courts and other things that they've done. Yeah. At least in 2 years or 3 years to come, if you ask that who were the people that constructed this, you will know that this is what this Kevin administration that did this, or maybe this particular structure, this particular thing. You will know that this. So it's not only about like word of mother you have gone, but what's what you have done. At least we should be able to see something. Even if you are the speaker of parliament, you're able to raise the funds.
But people don't always do infrastructure. Right? People don't invest in infrastructure. There are some administrations that
if you are a speaker of parliament,
yes,
we will know that it's for this administration that was able to do it. So definitely the speaker that was the one that presided over the sitting. Yeah. So it was that administration. The speaker was part of that administration. So it's a credit to the speaker too. So we know that it was 2 days that this particular thing was done. So that's why it's not necessarily mean that you have to see the thing, but at least we know that this particular one was being done by him. So we just have to evaluate him when he was a speaker of parliament, when he was the PASAC president, what did he do with the little office that was given to him? What improvement did he bring into the Physician Assistants Association or in terms of their affairs, and what kind of benefits did he add to the students' population? When we weigh that with the policies that he brings, then we can be able to know whether when we give him the federal position, he'll be able to deliver better or not.
So this actually adds up to the fact that when these people bring their profiles out, students should really scrutinize it.
They should. And that is a role I'm currently seeing on campus. At first with UHAS, it looks as if we are just voting by whatever you present to us, your face and everything. As you said, there's all this handsome model. But it looks like currently students are scrutinizing people. That is how come even with the budget, it has gone far. One person's thing on UHAS filler has just sparked a lot of conversation everywhere. And this particular year's election, they are going to even scrutinize them the more because we've seen what this administration has done. So we are expecting something better for them. So you can't just come and tell us that you do A, because we saw from Roger's manifesto, it was a 14-page manifesto. People keep asking, within that 14 pages manifesto, how many of you have fulfilled? So they've now gotten the idea of releasing policies without fulfilling a lot of them. So now if you bring out your policy, you are going to scrutinize it and see how feasible it is and know whether you are going to fulfill them within your tenure of office or not. Yeah.
Okay. So when we are talking about scrutiny, we're supposed to scrutinizing, you're talking about scrutinizing the profile of the people you are voting for and their policies to see if it can be really accomplished.
Exactly.
Yeah. So talking about in this video, he was talking about
this healthcare policy. I am wondering how is he going to roll it out? Because he was saying that the SRC
I actually don't know how.
So I
don't know how.
It is too early. I think it's too early for us to ask how is he going to roll it out. Because it's just a declaration of intent. He has not gone to the vetting and listening yet. Later on, you bring out his manifesto and explains the student population. So it's just like a kind of.
But do you know that people they are on various pages right now? They are using their manifestos their policies to actually get people to come to their side. I think that last time I chanced upon someone promising that when he's in office, you give us pen drives.
Yes.
I think it actually became a very big drama on one UHAS group, and a lot of people were talking about the fact that not all of us have laptops and all this stuff.
We are not yet to get their manifesto. Let's just wait and see. So that has been for Pius, and we'll have to look at the second video and see what it has for the students' population.
That one is for Frank Chatty.
Frank Chatty.
Okay.
Please, why are you going for the position of Federal SRC President?
All right, thank you for this important question. I believe that there are a lot of students who need to know why I'm running for the office of the SRC presidency again. But before I answer your question, I would want to thank all the news correspondents of UHAS-based TV and the news anchors for the great work that you are doing. And also, I would want to thank all the viewers of UHAS-based TV and also to my team members for the great work that they are doing outside there. This year is another election year for the SRC presidency. Thank God, unlike many aspirants in the past who had only one chance to run, and we had such instances like the like of Sunny Days and then Asubontin, they had only one chance to run. And so at the end of that year, they couldn't have another opportunity to run again. I am lucky to have another opportunity to run again. But that is not the major reason why I'm running. I think the reason why I'm running is because last year when I came to run for the SRC presidency, I made a lot of promises in terms of policies, what I was going to do as an SRC president to alleviate the challenges that students are facing on campus. Looking at transportation, students are being packed like sardines. Look at the classroom, there are no sufficient tables and chairs for students to sit on. You look at the hostels, there are no study rooms, there are no continual flow of water for students to use for their basic livelihood at the various hostels. I believe these are basic issues that students are really looking forward to getting solution from the SRC. Unfortunately, they've not gotten that from. Yeah. But even, let's take that out. You look at the SRC, I believe that SRC these days is losing a grip of power. The SRC is losing its autonomy, and we are actually playing into the hands of management. We are being controlled somehow by management. There are a lot of bureaucracies when you go to the top there. I always say that the current administration, they are doing so much work, but you see, they can only do their best. But I am coming with a different energy. We need a leader who would be very tough on certain issues that affect students especially, and a leader who comes with experience. And I have shown over and over again that I'm a man who is capable. For instance, right now we are working on accommodation facility for students. I think this is one of the issues that are facing students. So I believe that with the experience I've garnered over the years, the dexterity in serving, diplomacy, and engaging with the various stakeholders, management, I believe that with such experience, I can actually be able to fully represent the interests of students and be able to get real results for students. So that is my motivation. Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, please, Mr. Frank, do you think you would be able to meet the eligibility criteria?
Thank you so much, Abby. That is a very important question as well. Yeah, so when you read the SRC Constitution in Article 38,
that was Frank Chatty telling us about his second coming. He says he's coming with so much energy.
Yeah. There's one thing I like about Frank, and he talks about the fact that I think he's one of the first person I've seen who has come out publicly to declare that the current SRC has done something, but hasn't really gotten there. Yes, that has an impact on how people see him, based on the fact that some people are thinking that this current administration didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So he come out to say that it did something, but did to the best that it possibly can. Be honest. But in politics,
that is everyone's opinion.
Yeah, in politics.
Currently, when we have currently a country right now, and we are saying that things are very difficult, there are a lot of things, economic issues. But even right now, if you want to talk about, you get somebody still supporting
the
current government or former government or anything. Definitely, you see somebody who supports that you have done something good, while others also see a bad in you. So if you are trying to say that you've not done much, that doesn't mean that you were just in your office dormant. But like, we are matching you boots for boots by the policies you brought, weighing everything and see whether you have been so effective in power.
Okay.
That is why we are not trying to say that you've come into power and you've just been in your office doing nothing. If you just been in your office doing nothing, then we would have seen like even the SRC things going on in the first place. But that one too can also be a strategic move to support his campaign, so that you'd be like, at least you get people from the camp of
the current
administration, and also get people from the other camp to support. So it can be
actually both sides.
Yes.
In politics, it's actually I don't know what he said. Actually, has a lot of gravitas when it comes to politics. Yeah. And he talked about transportation and how students are packed like sardines. It's been quite a problem for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's been long since I took the bus. How are you guys still coping?
The situation is still the same. Students are being packed like sardines on sites wherever they are going to.
Oh, okay.
This issue of transportation, we've been hearing about transportation. It looks like nothing is being done about it.
But I think that currently, personally, that
it's getting better.
Personally, it is quite better.
Really?
Because initially when we came with the metro bus, you have to wake up as early as 5 a.m. to just run to the taxi rank just to get the bus.
We never knew that.
Yes. Okay. So when I came level 100, like you have to start at 5 a.m. to get the bus.
Wow.
Yes, for you to be able to get a metro bus. So the bus don't even come to the hostel. But currently, we can see like the Roger administration from taking away from this, taking
up from the previous administration.
Brought in the Yalulu bus, and through that, they even come to the hostel to pick students. So you don't have to rush for it. And also, like the number has increased. So a little bit of means have been reduced. So you don't have to wake up early, move to the taxi rank to get bus. You take the bus in the comfort of your hostel. So that's a bit of improvement. But we need more. We need more than that. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about numbers, I think last year the number of buses in the school were, I think, 2. I think people were actually complaining.
Yeah.
The numbers are.
There are 4 buses, I think.
At the moment.
Yes, I think I've seen 4 buses on campus.
Yeah. But going away from the transportation side,
used to be 3 or something like that.
Going away from the transportation side, I think like one of the things that he mentioned was in terms of the accommodation issues, that is preventing accommodation with them. And like personally, I feel like that accommodation issue, it can be a strategic thing for him to also address a student's issue. But like looking at also the experience earlier, we've seen such things going on.
Yeah.
Where when it's time people to take part in election, they will not go around, you need a hostel, they will provide you. So I'm a bit confused whether it is really part of it to help or not.
I really think it's quite a student problem.
Yeah.
Because it's actually hard to find a housing here in Ho. And also, when you read what he actually presented, it's not taking any agent's fee, so now it's free. So now you can get teams. Yeah. And one thing about it is that the major problem has always been about the fact that the prices that these landlords charge is somehow very, very expensive. Sometimes very, very expensive. I don't know what I don't know what they are doing about it, but
so
I think it's quite a problem.
They are constructing more of the hostel so that we can all be on camp with other things. So I think that's what the administration is doing to reduce that price. So the last act of the video was how they call it, the tables and chairs and all those things that you talk about. Me comparing it with the current administration, we saw that also in the Rogers policy.
Yeah.
The first in infrastructure was addressing the issue with the tables and chairs, but we still have the same thing. So like I keep on asking this particular question: is there really something going to be done about this particular issue? Because particularly, I have one of these days, I have to share a chair with one of my classmates.
I think that has become a very big problem.
Like in a class, so is any of the administration really going to do something about it? We've seen them in policies, we don't see them in action. So is there really something going to be done about it? That is another question for another day.
We'll actually be getting back to that very soon. So we have Johnson. Johnson was we talked about him. We talked about him in the past. We had an interview with him. I don't think you can play that for our viewers today. But he also brings in a lot of things. Brings in a diverse. He has a lot of policies he's bringing up. And one thing about him is that you're talking about the fact that this is actually a time where we need people who can speak.
Yes, people who can speak the mind of the students.
Yes, and will Johnson be the one because he has. When it comes to public speaking and speaking, he has actually accrued a lot of accolades when it comes to that field.
That's for the manifesto time. When the manifesto, we will see what he has to do. Because currently it's too early to ask those kind of questions to assess. So let them formally bring out their policy, do the debates and the debates on the policy and all those things and the manifesto. We can be able to assess it and know who will be able to do better or not. So I think that brings us to the end of the election roundup.
So rounding up, what your final words? 30 seconds each. What am I starting with?
Let's start with
Sandra. 30 seconds.
My final words. So the students' population should watch out for this year's election. Like they should keep their ears on the ground, make sure they assess everybody's policies very well before they vote for anybody, before they cast their vote for any of the aspirants. That's what I have to tell them.
So my final words to the is particular to aspirants. You should tell us why we should still believe in the students' leadership. That is one thing you should carry in their manifesto. Why we should still believe in that. If you're able to answer the particular question, then you'll be able to do well in the election. That's my final thoughts for them.
Okay, thank you very much. This brings us to the end of the 5th episode of Election Roundup. Catch us same time, same place next week. We're bringing you a lot of information, insight, and gist about what is happening in the world of UHAS politics. For myself and the rest of the crew, have a good evening. Why am I laughing?